which word I'm choosing before I read it. Agnosthesia. 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 Noun. The state of not knowing how you really feel about something, which forces you to sift through clues hidden in your own behavior, as if you are some other person, noticing a twist of acid in your voice, an obscene amount of effort you put into something trifling, or an inexplicable weight on your shoulders that makes it difficult to get out of bed. This comes from the ancient Greek agnostos, meaning not knowing, and diathesis, which means condition or mood, pronounced agnosthesia. Agnosthesia. fundamentally limited your senses are. Noticing how little of your field of vision is ever in focus, how few colors you'll be able to see, how few sounds you're able to hear, and how intuitively your brain fills in the blanks with its own cartoonish extrapolations, which makes you wish you could only experience the whole of reality instead of only ever catching a tiny glimpse of it, to just once step back from the keyhole and finally open the door. Open the door. Open the door. I like this word a lot, oculism, but I don't think it makes me sad to know that I won't sense everything. I think that our limited view is a very beautiful thing, although I do envy the creatures a bit that can see more colors than I can. I think that would be really amazing. Let's go into the interior wilderness. Viatni, 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 Viatni. Noun. Alienation from the crude machinery of your own body, like riding a ramshackle parade float that's run by gremlins you can't see, who toil away in darkness, pulling strings to move your limbs, kneading your guts and working the bellows, trying to further your modern agenda using nothing more advanced than a sack full of bones and splanchnic ganglia zapped by sparks and primordial O's. Primordial O's. So I guess Viatni is feeling like you're not a part of your body, like you're being controlled by something else other than yourself, on autopilot, instead of living your life and being in your body. Yeah. I feel like there are already words for that. I feel like a lot of people experience that. Freud. That's the right way to say it, never mind. Freud. Noun. A sense of paradoxical relief when something bad happens to you, which temporarily lowers your own expectations for yourself, transforming a faceless protagonist into something of an underdog who's that much easier to root for. Leadenfreud. So I guess an example of this would be if you're about to take a test of some sort and you fail it, feeling a little bit good about failing it because the expectations are a little bit lower, and that takes some of the stress off. I think a lot of people experience that too. That's what's kind of great about this, is it's common feelings, but feelings we don't have words for yet. I guess now we do. Apologies. moment you realize you are changing as a person, finally outgrowing your old problems like a reptile shedding its skin. Already able to twist back around and chuckle at this weirdly antiquated caricature of yourself that will soon come off completely. Ampolitis. Apolitis. I'm not sure this one happens to me very often. I think I only realize that I've changed in retrospect when I look back and I see that I was a very different person. Maybe I notice I'm changing sometimes, I don't know. Comment if you know you're changing and why. Comment if you're changing right now. Tell me about your story. This is in a similar thread to the other one. Anositia. Let's see if I said that right. Anositia. Anositia. The anxiety of not knowing the real you. The anxiety of not knowing the real you. Real you. Anositia. I suppose we all feel anositia from time to time because if you don't know yourself, how can you make any decisions? How can you make any decisions well? I don't really know if you can. And that's a scary feeling. Okay. We're going to move on now to the montage of attractions. Montage of attractions. Finding shelter in the presence of others. Middling. Noun. The tranquil pleasure of being near a gathering, but not quite in it. The tranquil pleasure of being near a gathering, but not quite in it. Not quite in it, not quite in it, not quite in it. I think that this is very relatable. I like to watch. It's very fun to observe people. This is a fun one. Marbertragate. Marbertragate. I never want to say that again. Noun. The inexplicable urge to push people away, even close friends whose company you generally enjoy. Like a poker player who keeps folding a promising hand in order to avoid the pain of losing, or tamp down the urge to go all in. All in. Marbertragate. I hate this word. Yeah, this will be our last word for today. La Gaudière. I like how these words are inspired by like different languages. Like this one seems French, the last one seemed German, and the other ones I think were Latin, which is pretty cool. Or from like Latin roots. Yep. Noun. A glint of goodness you notice in someone but you wouldn't expect, which is often only detectable by sloshing them back and forth in your mind until everything dark and gray and common falls away, leaving something shining at the bottom of the pan, a rare element hidden deep in the bedrock. and that must have been washed there by a storm somewhere upstream. La Gaudière. La Gaudière. Yeah, I have a story about La Gaudière. My best interaction with a stranger. I was in a car outside of a convenience store, I think. And I was sitting in the front seat. And a man came out of the store. And he looked at me. And I looked back at him. And he was a total stranger. And then he just smiled at me. Just smiled. And walked away. And it wasn't flirtatious at all. There was something like a genuine goodness in his eyes, that because we had made eye contact and he didn't have anything to lose, he just chose to smile at me. And I smiled back at him. And that was a good moment. That was a La Gaudière moment. I hope you enjoyed this video, Straw Pépés. Please let me know of any stories involving you in these words. Any time that you have experienced any of these things, tell me about it in the comments. I'd be very curious to know. Please remember to like and subscribe if you want to see more videos. And let me know if you want more videos like this as well, because I'd be very happy to do them, whether it be with my dictionary or just fully done in my goth uniform. Just let me know. I also have a Depop shop, so if you want to follow me, the link will be